the US Army are finally dropping the gender-based fitness rules. The UK actually did this quite some time ago. I'm Craig, a former British soldier, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. But before we get into that, head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk. Link is in the description. Go and check out our t-shirts and our premium quality coffee. Getting into this then. US Army drops gender-based fitness rules. Women must now meet male benchmarks. The US Army has introduced a sweeping overhaul of its gender-based combat fitness standards, now requiring female soldiers to meet the same physical benchmarks as their male counterparts. Doing a bit of research through this though, I would not say it is that hard for the females to pass the male benchmarks though. I'm actually not that shocked at how low the standards are. But from looking at the standards and the requirements that you need to meet, I would say the majority of the British Army would be able to meet them. So this is called the Army Fitness Test, formerly known as the Army Combat Fitness Test. Again, it consists of 5 exercises: 3 repetition maximum deadlifts, hand release push-up arm extension, sprint drag carry, the plank, and a 2-mile run. So those in non-combat roles must score a combined score of 300, scoring at least 60 points per event. So they have to get a minimum of 300, but in each event they have to get a minimum of 60 points to pass overall. For those in combat roles and like special forces, infantry, some artillery roles, combat engineers, they have to score a minimum of 350, and this is going to be for men and women. Okay. This is how easy it is and how much it doesn't change. Listen to this. A tougher path for women. For instance, women aged 17 to 21 will now be required to deadlift at least 140 pounds, 63 kilos, up from previous 120 pounds, 54 kilos. Anyone, any soldier, male or female, should be required to lift more than 63 kilos, 140 pounds for a maximum of 3 deadlifts, because every soldier in full kit, body armor, helmet, webbing, possibly day sack, weapon, ammunition, etc., is going to weigh more than 63 kilos. You need to be able to lift that possible unconscious casualty off the floor. That's how easy that is. Listen to this. Similar. 2-mile run must be completed in 22 minutes, a tightening from the previous 23 minutes, 22 seconds. So the women got over 11-minute miles, nearly 12-minute miles to run 2 miles, and the males still have to do it, still get 11-minute miles to pass a 2-mile run. Here we go. Where's the scores here? So as we've seen, the max deadlift, okay, to get 100 points is 340 pounds, just below 170 kilos, isn't it? That's a brilliant effort if you're lifting that 3 times. Pretty strong. But the minimum requirement is 140 pounds, 63 kilos for male. A male can pass 63 kilos. I'm actually pretty shocked at how low these standards are for British Army, for the US Army. I really am. Standing power throw. So it's basically standing and then throwing a ball backwards over your head. This is in meters and distance. You've got to throw 6 meters. To get 60 points. I wouldn't say it's that far. 12 meters 6 to get 100 points. I would say that's pretty far if you're throwing a ball backwards over your head. Women are going from 3.9 meters to 6 meters, so an added 2.1 meters when it comes to the standard power throw. So that's for 17-21s. What I find obviously different to the UK now, we used to have it age requirements as well. But the US Army have kept the age requirements, the age groups, as the UK have actually got rid of them, and the gender-based. But the US Army is still keeping the age requirements. So the older you are, sort of easier it is, I would say. But it's actually not looking at this. So you need to get 6.3 meters to get 60 at 22-26. So actually, when you start hitting 27 to 31, 32, 36. Let's look at the deadlifts. That's the same. The standing power ball throw, you actually have to require to throw it further. So it's harder. So that's good. Then if we look at the hand release press ups, this is where it gets pretty comical. for male and female to pass now. Previously, this was just males and females separately, but for them to combine, they only had to get 10 push-ups in 2 minutes. 10 push-ups in 2 minutes to get the minimum 60 points. I thought our standards were low when I think it was back in the day, females had to get 22 and males had to get 44 push-ups in 2 minutes. These are hand-release push-ups. I will give them that. You go down, release hands and push up. But only 10 push-ups. Extremely low to be able to pass that. Sprint drag carries. This is dragging a 90-pound sled and then coming back with two 20-pound kettlebells, I believe. Two 40-pound kettlebells. They get, this is over a distance of, it's a 25-minute lane. They run 5 times up and down the 25-meter lane. To pass, you got 2 minutes 28 is once again an extremely long amount of time. And remember, this is all to signify and practice actual roles that you may do in operations. So sprint, drag, carry is actually simulating sprinting and carrying a casualty. Only 90 pounds, which isn't that much, so it's extremely light. The one for the UK for the casualty drag is 110 kilos, so over 220 pounds. That's the difference. So they haven't got to drag anything that heavy either, and they get 2 minutes 28. Okay, this is all meant to be simulating real life possible events that you may be having to do to save your mate's life or save your own life. So, you know, to see such low scores is quite worrying from such, you know, a huge force who are meant to have so much capability and, you know, who go on about supporting so many other units. They should be held at a much higher standard. Looking at the plank then, maintain proper position. To get 60 points, you've got to hold the plank for a minute and a half. Not extremely hard, but you will be shaking after a minute and a half. 3 minutes 40 to get 100 points. If you're holding it for 3 minutes 40, that's a good amount of core strength. That's really, really good. I'd say 1 minute 30 is not too bad. Still pretty low, but not as bad as some of the other ones. Here we go then. The 2 mile run. 22 minutes. 22 minutes to run 2 miles. And I believe this is in shorts, t-shirt, trainers. It's not even in full kit. Not even in full kit. 2 11-minute miles, and you're saying that your soldiers are aerobically fit. It's 30 minutes 22 to get 100 points. That's still pretty slow. That's still just over 6.5 minute miles to get full whack 100 points. I would have thought that would have been below 12 minutes. I'm extremely, shocked that the US Army standards for aerobic capacity and their aerobic fitness levels, the strength of possible simulating, extracting a casualty, dragging a casualty. 1, you won't have the strength to do it, and 2, with this running ability, you're not going to have the aerobic capacity to drag these casualties either. It would be nice to see. I think it's good if you're going to have women in combat roles, you can't have separate gender-based scores. I totally agree with that. It should be all gender neutral. Women should be getting the same scores as female to maintain standards. Totally agree with it. Well done to the US. But you need to raise your standards. You want your soldiers to be able to extract a casualty, to be able to move at speed, maintain momentum when conducting fire manoeuvre, when moving across ground carrying kit, when moving with an ammunition run or whatever it is, an ammunition resupply, whatever it is you're doing, you want to know that your soldiers have that capability. And if a lot of your soldiers are hitting these minimum standards, they are passing, but they're only hitting and passing at the minimum standards, then there's definitely work that needs to be done, and it's quite worrying. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. Remember to head over to combatreadyhq.co.uk to check out our t-shirts, and if you want to feel yourself ready for these sessions or these army fitness tests, then go and grab some Combat Ready HQ coffee, premium quality coffee. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.